Hey, my friends, Amanda here, and this is another episode of the Unbottled Potential podcast. And today I have a short solo episode where I want to give you a little bit of encouragement around a topic that has been coming up quite a bit and pretty intensely for both my girlfriends and my coaching clients. And so if it is up all around me, that means it's also coming up within me. And it's something that I want to share with you so that I can normalize this conversation and also just reflect back to you some possibility. And that is the foundational healing opportunities that sobriety provides, and sometimes the discomfort that that can cause. And so, if you are in the middle of your alcohol free journey, regardless of if you're just sober curious and you're maybe dabbling with sobriety or you have been alcohol free for a while, what you will find is that sobriety opens up places for us to heal. It takes away the anesthetic that we've been using to numb and dull down the discomfort and the uncomfortable edges in our lives. And it opens up this place where we have the opportunity to think and feel thoughts and emotions that have not been readily available to us before. And so I just want to acknowledge how disarming and uncomfortable that can be, and how tempting it can be when you have uncomfortable emotions that seem almost insurmountable, almost unmanageable start to come up, that it can be really, really tempting to treat yourself or to numb out with a drink. And I wholeheartedly understand if you choose to do that. And I also truly believe that you are stronger and more capable than you give yourself credit for. And when those uncomfortable moments come up, I am here rooting for you, regardless of if we have ever met, because I know that if your inner guidance has brought it to you for healing, that there is something inside of you that believes you are capable right now of healing that thing, that thought, that trauma, that habit, that limiting belief, whatever it is. And I want to be clear before we dive in, that doesn't mean you have to do it on your own. I wholeheartedly also believe that your inner guidance system will bring you to resources such as therapists and coaches and other people who will help you to heal. And I also believe that you are probably brought to my work and to my podcast and into my space as for me to serve as a mirror for you of what is possible, and to remind you that it's okay, and to have you hear the reminders and the news that you need to hear, that you are capable of healing. You are stronger than you give yourself credit for. You simply have not learned to use the tools that already reside within you. Okay. And so when we take alcohol out of the equation, a lot of times what will happen is when we have this extra thought and energetic space, the things that we've been hiding from, big or small, start to come up. And it feels not okay. Quite often, it can feel frustrating because so many of the things that we've been running from, we've been avoiding, we've been hiding from, are things that feel almost impossible to get over. They are things that have been in our life since childhood, wounds or habits or limiting beliefs that we picked up when we were tiny children or adolescents. And so it seems really, really, really big to go back and heal those things. And what I hear coming up with my girlfriends and my clients right now is this sense of, oh, wow, I thought I worked through all of my stuff, and here's another thing. Or, oh, wow, this is a big one. And how long is this going to take? If this has been with me since I was a child or since I was an adolescent, how long is this going to take to heal? And what I want you to know is that healing is possible. It isn't instant, and there are very few quick fixes, in my opinion, that will actually do your healing justice. And that if you can commit to the healing that is available to you, to the rewiring, to the unlearning and relearning, that you will truly set yourself up to live a life that is beyond the expectation that you could possibly have, because there's no way for you to know how beautiful life can be when you're operating at full capacity, when you're operating from a place of being healed, or at least from a place of knowing how to self-regulate through difficult emotions. You have no way to understand what will be available to you when you choose that path. And I truly believe, again, that if you have been brought to this conversation, if you've been brought to the curiosity of being alcohol free, if you have been brought to this podcast, that you are being presented an opportunity by your inner guide, and that you are also being presented resources. Even if I am not the ultimate resource, one of the things I am so good at is directing you towards other resources to help you find the practitioners and the processes to help you heal through something really big. And so what we have here happening is, the sense of, hey, when will wow, there's another thing that's come up. And again, when will this be over? So what I want you to know is there's always little pebbles that you're going to uncover opportunities to grow because we're constantly evolving. And whether that is repairing something from the past or growing into a new level of being, there's always something available. So the first thing that you get to do is you get to choose if you are going to look at this healing as a burden and as a frustration and as a why is this happening to me? Why me? Or as an opportunity. As an opportunity to take control of basically your ancestral line, and say, I am going to be the one. This trauma, this way of thinking, this way of behaving, this limiting belief, this obnoxious, suboptimal behavior ends with me. I stop it here, which means that I am going to be the evolutionary point of my family tree. That means that myself and moving forward, we are going to do things differently. And I truly, truly, truly do believe that your healing, your change and your growth has the power to heal your family tree in reverse as well. And that's a really beautiful process. So I want you to know that when you have things coming up, you can choose to look at them as woe is me. There's always something wrong with me. Or it can be, wow, there's something here that I can change. I can transform. I can make this end with me. And I can use this as a growth point. I can use this as a way to optimize my life and to step into a higher, more evolved, more abundant, more self-expressed, more authentic, more miraculous, and more expansive version of me. Or I can choose to be upset that this is happening, that there's another thing that I get to work on, that I have to work on, right? And I know that this may seem not possible, not an attainable thought process for those of you who might be digging into bigger T traumas. And I also know from working with so many of you who have worked through really tumultuous things in your life, typically with the support of a therapist as well. I want to be clear that I don't do big T trauma work, that as you get through that, the level of possibility that just opens up to you in your life when you no longer are carrying this weight, this baggage, this shit around that you've been lugging around and trying to numb down for years is so freeing. It feels so good. And I want that feeling for you. And if you're someone who is in the other place that's looking at, wow, oh my gosh, this is such a big thing. Why am I still dealing with this? When is this going to be healed? Know that you are led to the pieces, the people, the processes, the healing mechanisms and modalities that you need as you open up to it, as your willingness opens up and evolves. You will be led to more people to support you in this process, and that healing, you've heard this before, healing is not linear. So sometimes it's an up and a down and an up again. And also healing is not proportionate to the length of time it took to create the wound, right? So if we look at healing, like cleaning out, today I was cleaning out my storage unit. And I've started to accumulate all of the things that like my childhood relics have now been sent with me, even though I really don't have space for them. My parents are like, oh, here, you get all your yearbooks and your Barbies and all your dance costumes now. You get to decide what to do with it. And here's the thing, I get to decide. And so while it's taken me 36 years to accumulate all these relics, some of which are burdensome and old and dusty and that I don't really need anymore, I can choose when I get rid of them. I can choose what to do with them. I can choose to honor them and pack them up really nicely and put them in a safe space. Or I can choose to look at it and say, I don't need this anymore. But guess what? Even though it took me 36 years to collect all of those relics, all of those things that are in my storage unit, it's not going to take me 36 years to get rid of them, right? So I want you to consider your healing the same way. If you are worried that your healing is going to take a long time, just know that healing is not in proportionate to life itself. And so, you've heard me teach from A Course in Miracles. A miracle is simply a shift in perception, and a miracle can happen in an instant. It doesn't require you to take the same exact time that was used to create the problem or the belief or the wound or whatever. And it can also come in phases and come in waves. Sometimes you can feel really, really secure in it. And then sometimes something can come back and scratch open the wound a little bit in a way that hadn't been quite yet explored and give you another opportunity. But each time you choose to grow through something, each time you choose to look at something that you had been hiding from before and actually choose to decide, do I want to keep this in my metaphysical soul storage locker, or do I want to let it go? And if I want to keep it, can I say, actually, thank you for being here. Thank you. I'm glad I get to keep you. Let me do this with honor versus, just kind of haphazardly having it in there. So we get to choose how we sort through our stuff and how quickly. And I truly do believe that when we show up for ourselves and we choose to do this healing, that the right tools and people will come to us. I cannot tell you how many times I had someone stumble across my Instagram page, stumble across an article that I wrote, stumble across a podcast that I was on, and the exact thing that they needed to hear is what came out of my mouth, the exact story, the exact reframe, the exact encouragement. And they weren't necessarily consciously looking for what I had to offer, but it came in front of them. And I know that as you open up to your own willingness to heal and grow on this alcohol-free journey, you will be presented with those resources as well. And so why don't we actually do something? If you are in a free space where you could close down your eyes and just do a really quick prayer and activation, if that feels good, please do. If you are driving or doing something where being silent for a moment and still and closing your eyes is not safe or possible, just listen along and you can come back to this later. So if you are willing to use your growth, use your sobriety as a growth opportunity, if you're willing to let your healing be miraculous and fast, and if you're willing to be guided to some new possibilities for healing and support, if you're curious enough to let this thing that you've been carrying around or these things or whatever it is go, why don't you go ahead and close down your eyes and just follow me here. Taking a big, deep breath in through your nose. Dear universe, thank you so much for supporting me in my healing. I know that this is scary and I've been avoiding it. And I've been carrying this weight around with me, this burden, this habit, this thought, this behavior. I've been carrying it around for a long time, so long that it almost feels familiar and feels scary to let go of and feels scary to look at. And in this moment, universe, I invite you in to support me in this healing journey. I invite you in to help me with a miracle, to rewire my perception, to rewire my thoughts so that this can be easy, so that this can be fast, so that this can be graceful. I ask you to direct my attention, dear universe, to the people and the resources and the support systems and the healing modalities that are going to help accelerate my journey like it never has before. Help me to find the people that will guide me and support me and help me see myself in them, to help encourage me and know that this is possible. Help me to find the resources and modalities that will help this healing feel short, feel soft, feel gentle. Help me to find the perseverance and the curiosity to dive in and keep going even when it feels hard. Help me to find the perseverance not to numb out when it feels overwhelming. Help me to find the tools that I need to sit with my emotions and regulate through them, knowing that on the other side, I will be a more powerful, authentic, self-expressed, open, beautiful, supportive version of me, and that I will only have more to give to this world. Because when I open up space to fill up my own cup even more, when I rid myself of all of this clutter that is in my heart and in my soul and in my mind, I will have space to flow into new possibilities. And from that perspective, I will be able to serve and support others in a greater capacity. And I thank you for guiding me on this journey. I thank you for helping me. And I know because I have asked, it is already being done. And so it is. Ooh, y'all, I hope you felt that. I hope you felt that and you are willing and curious enough to open up to your own healing, because we all have things, little and large, that we can heal. And sobriety opens up a place for that to happen on a more profound level. Once you get the barrier of alcohol out of the way, really beautiful and miraculous things can happen for you. And if you were feeling that, I hope you maybe go back and listen to that again when you need a little support. And know that I'm here cheering for you. I'm rooting for you. I know the magnificence that is available to you when you choose to live life clear-headed, when you choose to live life from a perspective of healing and growth and possibility, even when it is hard, especially when it is hard. And I'm here rooting for you. If I can be of service to you in any way, please reach out. If you're looking for a specific resource, know that there are so many profound healing modalities out there that go far beyond what you may have experienced before. And there are so many books and resources and even different therapy practices that are beyond what you've probably experienced in the past. And I know some of you might be frustrated that you've tried and you've done this and you've gone to therapy or you've done the retreat or whatever, and you're doing the meditations and it doesn't seem to be working. Stick with it and know that there are other resources available that maybe have not yet presented themselves to you. And again, I will say that it's one of my special skills to direct you to these. So if there's something that is on your mind and you want to chat, slide into my DMs on Instagram. I'm at Amanda Kuda. I do have, if you're listening to this in real time, it's the last week of November, and I have opened up some spaces for one-on-one immersion sessions with me, which are 75-minute deep dive sessions where we work together. So maybe that would be an opportunity. But if not, I'm just so grateful that you're here, no matter how we are connecting or what capacity we're able to work in right now together. I am grateful that you are here because I know that whatever brilliance you have behind your relationship with alcohol, behind the areas where you are healing and growing and transforming, I know that that brilliance is truly special and that the world needs more of it. And so I just want to encourage you to keep going, to keep showing up, to keep shining, to keep healing, to keep it up on this journey. I'm so proud of you. And I will catch you next week right back here.